Hi guys, so the first palette we're going to use is the Morphe 15N palette, and I'm taking the shade Opal on a R37 and I'm just applying this all over my crease. I'm applying this in a back and forth motion, and then I'm going to go in little tiny circles and buff it into the crease going upwards. Okay, next shade I'm taking is Shook, and I'm using this on a M433, and I'm applying this a little bit lower than that first shade, and I'm also going to blend this out in a bit. Well, I am blending it out with this brush as well. I'm applying it all the way from the inner corner of the eye to the outer corner in the crease. And now I'm taking the shade Editorial on a M506, which is a smaller brush, and I'm packing this even a little bit lower than those first two shades. It is a smaller brush, so it'll get less product on there, which is what I want. This is more of like a cool tone brown shade, so it'll help to blend with that black that we're going to use next. I'm just taking a little bit at a time, just building up the intensity. Now I'm going back in with the M433 and just blending that out. Now I'm taking the R37 and just blending a little bit higher in my crease. I don't have any additional product on this brush. Okay, now we're going to take the Prism palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm using this shade Obsidian, and this is on a E36 brush. I'm going to apply this shade in the inner corner of my eye and the outer corner and leave the center blank because we're going to be creating a halo eye. And I'm just going to lightly connect the two right in the crease. I don't want too much black in my crease, I just want the black mainly in the inner and outer corners of my eye. And I'm using a very light hand here. And now I'm going back in with the M506 and I'm just blending that out just in the crease. I don't have any additional product on this brush. I'm just adding a little bit more black in the inner and outer corners and a little bit in the crease as well. So just adding and then blending out and adding and blending out. You can get it as deep as you want or you can keep it as light as you want. It's up to you. Now I'm taking this Urban Decay palette. It's the Heavy Metals Glitter palette, and I'm taking the shade Glamrock, and I'm going to use this on a MAC 242. This shade is just fire. Look at it. Oh my god. This pops. This is such a gorgeous silver. And I'm applying this right in the center of my lid where I left it blank. I'm just using little tapping motions to apply this. Okay, after that I'm taking some Too Faced glitter glue and I'm applying this right above that silver. You don't have to do this step, but this just added a little bit extra glitter to the look. And the palette that I used next is a Tarte palette, and the shade I take from there is Stargazer. It's that color right there. And I used it on a brush and I also apply it with my finger. It works either way, but you can see the difference between the two eyes. It just adds a little bit extra. Don't mind me singing, I was listening to music. And I just go back with the brush and just tap it on and back with my finger. Okay, now I'm just adding a little bit more black in the inner and outer corners just to get that intensity back, and I'm just gonna go back in with the M506 and just lightly blend that out. Being careful not to blend too much in the center where that silver shade is, because I don't want that blown out in my crease. I'm taking the R37 and just lightly blending in my upper crease. For the lower lash line, I'm taking that same black shade and stamping it on right underneath my waterline. And then I'm going back in with the shade Editorial on a E18 and just smudging that black out. And this gives you a really nice smoky effect. Now I'm going to take Lower Mercier gel eyeliner and I'm applying this in my waterline with a Sigma brush. Forgot the name. That is a Sigma E65. And I'm also using it to tightline as well. This is a very creamy eyeliner, so it kind of tends to get in your eye a little bit, so just be careful. I'm just going back in with a little bit more black just to kind of set that gel liner in place and just blending that out with the E18 again. Okay, I'm going to curl my lashes now, and I'm going to apply some falsies. The ones that I use, I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, the style is Goddess, and they're the Tarte lashes. They are really, really pretty, super dramatic, just like this look. This is not an everyday look. Okay, and now I'm going to highlight my brow bone. I'm using the shade 9line from MAC, and the brush I use is a 228, MAC 228 brush. I'm just going back with the R37 and just blending in between the highlight and the crease. And I've also applied some mascara already. Let's move on to the face. We're using the Makeup Forever primer as always, and I'm just pushing this right into my face just to fill in all my pores. And now I'm taking the Nars Pore Perfecting Line Filling Primer Stick thingy. And I'm just going to use this in all the areas where I tend to crease a little bit more, and just a little bit on my cheeks just to fill my pores in, and just right underneath the eyes. This is extra as well, you don't have to do this step. Foundation I'm using is Teint Idole Ultra by Lancôme, and I'm using this with a Real Techniques sponge. I'm just going to tap it right into my skin. After foundation, we're going to use concealer. I'm using Tarte Shape Tape. I'm going to apply that right underneath my eyes and go back in with that Real Techniques sponge and just blend it out. And to get right into that inner corner where that sponge can't reach, I use a blending brush. This is a E27. Now I'm going to take this Este Lauder highlighting pen. I don't think they make this anymore, it's not available, but you don't have to use the same exact thing, you can use whatever you have. I'm just going to use this to highlight on my face. So we're going to apply some a little bit underneath the eyes, the forehead, the chin, center of the nose, right above the cupid's bow, and then right underneath the contour lines of my cheek. I'm just going back in with that sponge and just tapping that all out. And then I just go back with the E27 and get right into that inner corner of the eye as well. And just blending all over. This is a nice little blending brush. Now I'm going to do some cream contouring. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit. And I use the center shade, which is called Cinnamon. And I'm taking this on a, what brush is this? It's a Sigma P88. So I'm just going to draw some contour lines right on my cheekbones or underneath my cheekbones, along my forehead. I don't do too much on my forehead because my forehead is already small, so I don't need that much. And along the jawline. A little bit on the chin. We are going to town with this contouring. Kinda, sorta. And of course the nose. This brush has like a nice little edge to it, so it really helps to get straight lines. Okay, to blend this cuteness out, I am going to use a MAC brush. What is the name? The MAC 159 brush. I'm just going to use this to blend underneath my jaw, underneath my cheeks, on my forehead. And then I'm going to change it up and use a different brush for my nose because this brush is a little bit too big. For the nose, I use a R37. Oh, and I forgot to contour underneath my lip. This gives you like dimension of a larger lip. So I just apply a little bit on underneath there and use the brush to blend it out. And now to set all that in place, I'm using the Shade and Light palette. And I'm using that center shade, which is called Lyric, on a E48 brush. And just setting my under eye with that. Set the rest of the face, I'm using Laura Mercier translucent powder on a big old brush. This guy is a E41 from Morphe. I'm just tapping that powder into the skin. Tap and blend. I'm just going to clean up my contour a little bit. So I'm using that beauty sponge, just lightly tapping into that powder and carving out those cheekbones. I'm also going to bake a little bit on top of my forehead and underneath my eyes. And the chin as well. And while that bake is setting, I'm going to go ahead and take these two shades from the Shade and Light palette and use a Nars Eater brush to go ahead and set all that cream contour in place. So everywhere we apply that cream contour, we're going to go ahead and use powder contour now. And to do the nose, I use a M504 brush by Morphe. And I also use this for right underneath my lips as well. And I'm just wiping away all that baking that we did. Wiping away the excess powder with a E48. Now we're going to take MAC Margin Blush and we're going to apply this on our cheekbones. So I always make like a little smiley face and see where the apple of my cheek is, and then I'll start the blush right there and then go upwards. So it just gives you more of like that higher cheekbone effect. And the brush I'm using is a E4. I'm going to take Champagne Pop by Becca and use this to highlight my cheekbones. I'm using a M510 brush. I'm just applying this on top of the cheek and just right a little bit along the eyebrow, in the outer corner of the brow, and the center of the nose, and right on top of the lips as well. Moving on to brows, just combing the hair through with the spoolie first, and I'm going to go ahead and use Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in the shade Chocolate. I always draw a little line right along the lower brow line and then along the upper brow line, and then just fill it in the middle. And in the beginning, I'll just do like little tiny flicks just to mimic what the hairs look like. And then I'll blend in between and then go back and see if I need to add any more pencil. And just setting those in with a clear brow gel by Anastasia as well. And my battery ran out, so I couldn't record what lip shade I use, but I used Fenty Beauty, the Mademoiselle lipstick in the shade Single, and on top of it I put Buttercream lip gloss by Gerard Cosmetics. And this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one, but thank you for watching, and make sure you like and you subscribe and stay tuned for more. Bye!